Hello everybody and welcome on today's video. This fusion project on a big rock is doing quite well, but I have some problems with the substrate. I used some of this poor quality cat litter, and well, I have better cat litter now, but this is something that's really sticky, and this whole pot is staying wet, so I don't like it. I like to have it in a better draining soil mix, and maybe start to compress the trees and the roots better against the rock. So what I'm going to try today is get this thing out of the pot, put it in this thing so that I don't make a mess, and maybe try to put it in this pot. So I think the rock is somewhere here, so it should work, and then I can gain a few centimeters of soil that I can remove. If I see that it does not work, I always have this little basket, which is of course a little higher than the pot that I have, but yeah, of course it's not that nice to look at. I prefer this mica pot. So well, the first thing to do is to get this thing out of the pot and then have a look and then see what I should do to well, to make the most intelligent decision for the tree. So let's do that. So okay, this is heavy, and yeah, heavy and tricky. Now I have a few seedlings here, field maple seedlings, but I don't think that I'm going to need them because I have plenty of growth all over the place, and it's always possible to do something afterwards, but I think this whole thing is getting a little problematic. Now this is also going to be problematic to get this out of the pot, so I'm just trying to grab the rock here, and yeah, should maybe have some help. Maybe one of my kids can give me a hand. Well, it helped. It's out of the pot now. So let's have a look at these roots. So of course that's what you get when you have a big pot. You have all the roots that are starting to grow around the pot, and round and round and round. This thing has been in this pot for, well, 2 years now, and that's a little bit of a problem because you don't want the roots to go round and round and round. You want the roots to cling to the rock. So that's what I'm going to try to improve today. So first of all, I need to see where this rock ends. Okay, so first I need to have an idea where these roots are and where this rock is. So I'm going to lay down the whole thing here. So I'm going to lift this up again. This is heavy. So quite a good root ball, I must say. Okay, so this is going to be much easier. Now I'm going to look for the rock. Well, obviously the rock is not there because my whole chopstick passes right through it. Here, a little higher, it's not here. Again, a little higher. Okay, so here I think that the rock is. Maybe lower. No, here it is not. So up to this point I can remove all this. See, it's terrible, it's sticky soil, it sticks on my fingers, it's, yeah. So I'm going to cut away all this whole part here. Okay, so here I go. Not a whole lot of roots in this horrible substrate. So I'm just going to cut round and round. Okay, I got right through it, so now I'm going to put it here, clean this mess up, and I'll be right back. It still is heavy, but look at this, it's horrible. So yeah, it doesn't smell so good either. First I'm going to try to fit the thing in the big basket here. And if I see that this works well, I already have a plan, which looks nice. But I'd like to have it in the other one. So when I see this one is 10 centimeters deep and the other is 8.5, so if I can remove the soil up to here and don't do big disasters, I probably have a chance to get it in the other one, but then of course I will have to remove some more from the sides. So this seedling is going to come loose, but I have a little pot for it, so it's not gonna be wasted. So of course we have some root here. But again, this root should be against the rock and not against the edge of the pot. So, but I have another idea. I think that I should be able to press the roots against the rock without cutting anything of it. And therefore I'm going to use a wet moss, because I have a whole lot of wet moss. When I change the moss on a tree, I always keep the moss, let it dry, and it's, yeah, well, it's the not sphagnum moss, but it does the trick really well. So I don't see a lot of root here, you see, so I think that everything is quite safe. Nothing's falling apart. So I'm going to carry on, do this side, and you see I'm already under the edge of this pot, so I think that I can safely continue. And of course I need to do the other side too. And then I will have to measure. Okay, so the other side. Like so. Still not a lot of root here. Again, this sticky stuff. Here I have a big root, so I must be careful. See, here. Because of course you always want feeder roots in the soil. But in this case, because you want a root over rock, you want bigger roots to be around the rock, which is the whole purpose of the look on these trees. Okay, so I'm going to measure now. So this is the deepest pot that I have, and I have 8.5 centimeter in depth, and then it's 21, but of course it's less in the bottom, and this is 32, so 21, 32. Okay, So 32, that's that. So yeah, I have that. That's no problem. And then 21. Let's have a look. This is 21. Oh well, that's gonna work. So I'm going to loosen this a little more, and then go for a little more reduction. So I just work my way around. And of course, need to spray the roots a little, because it's a nice sunny day. Okay, so this side a little more. So obviously the tree began to grow. Here I have the rock. You can hear that. Okay, last side. No, there's another one. This is better soil. You see, it falls, it crumbles. So this is better. Well, the tree is now sitting on a old concrete pot. And that's very good, because now all the roots are pointing down, falling down, and it's rather obvious that I can put this tree in the shallow, well, not that shallow pot. And I think it's about time that I did this, because all these roots are starting to run around. So just going to rake these out a little. So into the new pot it goes. 1, 2, 3. So it fits. That's perfect. So the front is here, so I'm going to turn this round and stuff. Good. Tree on a turntable is always better to work with. And like I said, this was the front, so I'm quite happy that the tree is leaning a little bit to that side. And now I'm going to try to untangle a part of these roots, guide them down, and of course I will have still a little bit of this not so good soil, but I'm trying to get it off as much as I can, and I will replace it with better stuff, but it will have to be a gradual operation. See, we have a root here. Hey, hooray, that's nice. So this is a little seedling from this year. So I have some of the raffia now that I could take off, but I will not do that because Still need this raffia to hold the trees in position. That might be something for the autumn. Again, this raffia. There's a series on this whole project. It started 2 years ago, in the beginning of the COVID-19 situation. These were strange times. So you see, if I would have let this root grow for another year, would be a problem to get it where I wanted it, and it starts from here, so I really want it against this rock. So that's a whole lot better. So just going to try to remove as much as that unholy soil as I can. And then we'll be there to cover the whole thing in moss so that it's well protected and that I can push the roots against the rock before I fill the pot up with soil. So I have a bag here with moss and some leaves and stuff like that, so I'm just going to put that in the water here. Okay. There's some pine needles in here. So what I need to do now is try to find the roots, expose them, big roots. This is the back, and then I'll put some moss against that. Okay, little more. Like so. Yeah, so I'm going to take a little strap of plastic now and wrap the whole thing. This is a plastic bag. I don't know why I'm always working with the back towards you. Stupid. It's already a nice thing to look at. So this is a plastic bag. It's way too big, which is always better than way too small. And before I started this wrapping operation, I prepared myself a few pieces of duct tape. Because that helps, like so. And now I have the tree where I want it, the roots where I want it, in a mica bonsai pot that is already acceptable. So now I need to fill up the the pot with good substrate. So let's do that. So you see the plastic comes really under the rim of the pot, which is of course one of the things you want. You want the trees, the roots to grow inside this part, because the plastic is coming down here and the pot is coming to here. That means that all the roots, which will have to grow in the plastic, will have to grow in this spot. So when I repot this tree in a year or two, it's going to be in a quite shallow pot, I hope. Another good thing about this is that the plastic will be held by the substrate above it. So, okay, this is a little spare one, and now I'm going to go quite deep so that all the mud and horrible stuff in the substrate under this will get replaced little by this good substrate. So now I think this concludes the root part. And now I need to do something about this plastic, because I don't want this plastic to be that high, so probably I can remove a little bit of it. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do next. So I need good sharp scissors to this. So now that I don't have to look at the horrible pot, horrible black pot, I just want to go as deep as I can for the view. So this is good. It's always better to begin with a bigger plastic. That's also why I did not put my duct tape too high, because I knew I had to remove some of this plastic. Okay, almost there. Of course you don't want to cut any root now. And then I'll have a final filling in of the substrate. So I'm going to put the tree back in the tray. It's still heavy. Well, that's because that rock is heavy. And I will now, where's my bag? Here it is. So now I'm going to fill up the rest of this plastic with substrate, slowly but surely. And this black plastic seems, so I heard, to make the roots grow better. So that's a gain, of course. So I'm going to finish this. So this concludes the transpotting, because it's not really a repot, of this big rock clinging fusion project. Some of you might wonder if it was a good time of the year to repot this, because, well, the tree is already reefed out, but I didn't cut any roots, so I just repositioned everything, and I don't think that the tree will have a problem with that. Of course, to be on the safe side, I'm going to put him in the shade for a week at least, and then I think it's gonna be okay. So you already have a nice view on the rock now, which starts to look quite interesting. So to finish the video, the traditional 360. So that's it. I think it's quite an improvement for the tree. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.